Good evening, Gabbie.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to our weekly podcast at Curran View with the Isle of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. And if you're listening free to the first half on either Acast or Spotify, you can follow the links on our socials and access the full podcast via either Apple or become a Patreon, all the W's patreon.com/SRBmedia, or follow the podcast on Twitter at Curran View, on Facebook, The Curran View, or join the group, which is just under 3,000 strong now, The Curran View also. Thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. How's things?
Not too bad. I've got dodgy knees.
Yeah.
I've got to go back on the 23rd of this month to get them x-rayed again.
Yeah.
And then they'll let me know what they're going to do. But they've had that many injections when I was playing football, Gabbie.
That's your problem.
What was the cortisone?
Mm.
They say that one should have been, well, one's too many anyway. But I finished it with 5 or 6. So I finished it with really bad knees. And anywhere else, if you'd have been in America, you'd have got fortunes for neglecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, TC. That's what happened back in your day when players were, I wouldn't say unfit, but you got a niggle or you got an injury that would not allow you to play in today's game. They just whack you on the treatment table, bang the cortisone, run around a bit, you'll be fine. And all you've done is aggravate that injury that you had.
Well, more than that, they would say to me, majority of teams I play for, they said to me, you had to play, you put fans on seats.
Yeah.
So you were forced into playing. Or when I say forced, no, I take that back because it's a strong word. They would kid you into playing that, the fans want to come and see you. So, it's important that you play, that type of thing. So, no, with the bad advice we got from not from the club, but from management and the form of physios in those days, it weren't good.
Absolutely. Now, how's the new house?
Well, we get in there. We've
Good.
got a little bit more decorating into other 2 bedrooms, which will be done before Friday. Carpets down next week, and then we can settle in and go and enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely, TC. Who was enjoying themselves on a football pitch this week or last week as well? Because we didn't do the podcast last week. So, Magic Moments, TC, what have you sourced for us over the last 14 days?
I've got 3 this week because obviously we're not doing last week.
Yeah.
So I've got 3. The Harry Kane goal at Brighton.
Yeah.
Where, the goalkeeper knows where it's going. Right, I can remember John Robertson scoring when I was playing in the game. I think it was Wolves, but not Wolves. We're playing anyway. Playing in the game, did the exact same thing. Came on the left hand side and bent it round right into the top corner.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's goal against Brighton in the FA Cup. I want to mention Boreham Wood's great performance.
Yes.
So now they've got Everton in next round, which is it's an achievement. It's just unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Especially in this day and age of giant killing. I think it's a really big achievement. There's a couple of incidents in the Villa game against Leeds, but I know you've got 2 major ones in them. But I'm going to go for one of Dan James' great piece of magic. He didn't score. Well, he did score in the game, but it weren't that bit when he scored the goal. It was when he hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
He turned, beat his man, and terrific piece of skill. And the other one is Sterling's goal against Norwich. And I don't know if you saw the Rangers Celtic game. So I'm going for 4 when I think about it. The goalkeeper for Rangers pulled off 4 world-class saves.
Yeah.
That could have been, what was it, 3? It could have been 7-0 that game when you look at it, And now Rangers have come back in this last few years to say that Celtic absolutely destroyed them, the other week. Unbelievable and great performance by the Rangers goalkeeper.
Absolutely, TC. And you're right, the magic of the cup is still alive in Boreham Wood. Kidderminster, I thought, were really unfortunate against West Ham, as were Chelsea, for Plymouth away at Chelsea.
Just a little bit, to score an equaliser in the last kick-it game practically, and then to score a winner in the last kick-it game of extra time.
Yeah.
When you looks out, it's incredible, isn't it?
Well, it's always been that phrase, your name's on the cup. And many players have said it, and managers. And I think that when you do look at teams that go on and win the FA Cup
They
or
have that
get to
bit
the
of luck,
final,
yeah.
oh, don't they just? And sometimes you think, well, they're out now, they're out now. And
Yeah.
from somewhere, and I thought Declan Rice, I mean, what a goal. And Bowen's on fire. West Ham
What?
really looking good value for fourth spot at the moment.
Oh yeah, well, I still think that's going to be an interesting spot.
Yeah, it will.
I think some of you laugh at me, but I still think Man United will nick that.
Yeah, I
But
think they
going
will.
back to the FA Cup, 1979, when Arsenal won the cup in 1979,
Yeah.
beat
Man
Man
United.
United
Yeah.
3-2, they pulled it back to 2-2. We played them in quarter final. We got to final of the League Cup, beat Leeds in the semi final. We got to quarter final of the FA Cup. And this is what we mean, or what you're saying to the people what listen to our podcast
Mm.
about the names being on the cup. Somebody's crossed the ball. Terry Geno is tipped it out onto crossbar.
Yeah.
And they've got to have the video somewhere. The ball has run right across the goal post and fell at far post. 9 times out of 10 it would have gone out for a corner kick. It fell this side, and David Price nipped in to score. Right, then they went and beat us 4-1 up at IB replay, and they went on to win the FA Cup. And even then, they were 2-0 up, and Man United pulled it back. I think Alan Sunderland scored the winner, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he did. From a Graham Ricks cross, and
Yeah.
Alan Hudson's last game for Arsenal, competitive game for Arsenal, was the FA Cup final in 1978. And when they had the inquiry that Don called at Highbury a few days, well, on the Monday after, it was Huddy that said, "You got it wrong. It was your fault. You picked Alan. No disrespect to you, Alan. You're a great player and that, and you're a good lad. But Rixie should have played, and because he was the young and you didn't pick him, it all kicked off a little bit then. But irony, as football is full of ironic situations and scenarios, it was Graham Rix's cross for Alan Sunderland to knock it in 1979, and Al was in Seattle when he heard that come through, and he said to me on a recent podcast of My Life, My Music, I'd have loved to have gone out with a winner's medal and beating Man United. That was the ideal, to bow out, not the way that he
Yeah.
did. But that's
Yeah.
football, isn't it?
Well, so it's sometimes just little incidents
Yeah.
cost you certain things in life.
Yeah.
In what does in life itself? You know, I always look at the two major injuries I got at Forest and Everton. Both teams went on to win major trophies, and it's frustrating. It can be hurtful for some. I mean, I just took it with a pinch of salt, but I always think back. You know, if only. I must admit, I always think that way.
Again, when we do our podcast, we done one that was literally called If Only, and we were looking at if only scenarios. But My Life, My Music podcast with Al, latest one's out at New Year, fresh hopes and shine on hoodie. And we talk an awful lot about if only, because that is what football is littered with, if onlys. And that game that you referenced, it was Sheffield Wednesday versus Arsenal in 79.
No, 78.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, right, okay. Because you
Because
played.
that was the year when they had them 3 games, isn't it?
They had loads of replays. Yeah, I remember. You wasn't there at the
And I
time.
wasn't there.
What?
79 when I joined. I joined after the cup fight, after the League Cup final. Arsenal beat him. I think it was at Leicester.
Yeah.
On the third, was it third one?
It was something like about the third replay. But you're talking about your time when you played for Southampton and you played Arsenal in the quarter final in 79,
the
wasn't
Dell.
it?
At the Dell, yeah.
Yeah.
At the Dell. I've just said it, but the ball ran across. Terry Geno tipped the ball onto the crossbar. It ran right across the crossbar and fell to David Price. Tapped it into empty net, because obviously, I think Ivan Golak had gone to middle at goal.
Yeah.
Peach had gone edge of the 6-yard box. Terry Geno's come to the near post, tipped the ball onto the crossbar and bumped down. So no, the one Alan's on about was 78. So they must have got there 78, did they then?
They Arsenal got there in 78 and 79, but as I say, in the January of 79, Arsenal played Sheffield Wednesday in that infamous many replays, and could have got knocked out to Sheffield Wednesday, and then went on.
Was that 79 then?
It must have been, yeah. It was January 79, wasn't it?
Right.
So, I mean, the FA Cup starts in the January, of course, the third round.
Wednesday could have knocked them out then.
Absolutely, so I'm saying.
And then we were unlucky not to,
Yeah.
And then I went to join Wednesday the same year. Sorry, so it's me what's got that wrong. Yeah.
No, yeah. So,
I'm thinking when you was on about Real in 78, it must have been 78, but no. 79.
Yeah, so I'm going to look at Arsenal's FA Cup run of 1979. Because that's the thing, isn't it? It's the 78-79 season, because in the May 79, the FA Cup, I know it does for the smaller clubs, starts in 78, but it doesn't for the bigger clubs, and certainly the old First Division clubs didn't come into it. Well, still don't till the third round proper.
Yeah. But, when you're talking about things like that, the 74 FA Cup final, Liverpool, Newcastle, the Forest fans still remember when they were 2-0 up, and that game. He got abandoned or something with a replay, or stopped, whatever it did. Newcastle went on to win it, didn't they?
Yeah, they were. What had happened? Forest scored a couple of early goals, took a 2-1 lead. I believe Newcastle then got a goal back, and then Duncan McKenzie fell into a Newcastle defender, gave a penalty, and they went 3-1 up. Now, at this stage, Pat Howard, who I've done a podcast with Pat, I've done one, we're talking about the Cup Final 74, and also a My 70s podcast with him, and a game of my life, which it was, the Newcastle versus Forest game. So Pat went over to the referee and said it was never a penalty, and the referee said it was, and I'm giving it. And Pat was remonstrating with the referee, and the ref said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to send you off. And Pat said, if you send me off, there's going to be a riot here. And he said, well, if you don't shut up, you're going. So Pat he sent him off, gave him the red card. And that's what happened. The Newcastle fans invaded the pitch. The game, players were taken off the pitch.
A lot of Forest fans never forget that game. But
no, absolutely. And then when they went back, Bobby Moncur scored the winner 4-3 in the dying minutes, and then Nottingham Forest had a situation where they approached the Football Association and they were given a replay. Really, Newcastle should have been thrown out the cup, and Forest should have gone through. But they did play replay. It was 0-0, and Malcolm McDonald scored the winner in the second replay.
The only reason why I mentioned that game is because in 1974, I signed 73 for Liverpool when Sunderland beat Leeds, and I gave that to Guthrie a right chasing. That's when I signed my first contract up at Sunderland.
Yeah.
But we played Liverpool.
Yeah, he did 74, January 74.
And we're 2-1 up.
Yeah.
There's about 10 minutes to go. And Kitch, I'm not quite sure if he hit the crossbar or the bounce down in there, it over, but something happened in the game. I mean, I was on the bench that day. But you get caught up in all the atmosphere and everything what was going with it. But we was about 10 minutes away from, in fact, making it 3-1. And Liverpool, Kevin Keegan equalised. And then we played the replay. It was like on a Wednesday. We played Wednesday afternoon because there was a power strike on.
Yeah.
So obviously we were an afternoon kickoff. And Liverpool went on to win the FA Cup in 74. So there's lots of incidents in games where teams, if only they wouldn't have had that bit of luck, or if only they've had that little bit of luck, they may have gone on to win the cup or whatever, league titles, whatever it was.
Absolutely, and you're right. In that 74 season, both Newcastle United and Liverpool were quite fortunate to get through certain games on their cup run to the final.
But now thinking about that, if only I would have played against Burnley.
Yeah,
when I did my knee. So
Yeah.
it's funny, isn't it? It's a funny old game is football.
It is, and then Newcastle went on and played Burnley in the semi-final. I believe it was Hillsborough that they played in there, and Supermax scored a brace, and there they were
Well,
at Wembley.
Villa and Hillsborough were the major,
Oh yeah,
weren't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
two great venues.
Everton and Southampton played at Highbury, but nearly all the semi-finals were played at Hillsborough and Villa Park, really, weren't they?
Yeah, I think
What I can think of,
what generally happened if there was a southern team versus a northern team, you play in the middle. If there was two northern teams, you'd probably play up north. Two southern teams. Highbury was always a good venue. It's funny how they pick the venues, because Hillsborough and Villa Park will always be remembered as the two iconic semi-final venues. I mean, I don't like them playing at Wembley these days. I think it just takes the gloss out of
It
getting
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
to Wembley for me.
Well, when you look at it, that was another reason what took the gloss of the FA Cup, weren't it? Because it was all a matter about getting to Wembley,
Yeah.
the day of the build-up that week, the day of the build-up on the Friday, the day of the game, cameras travelling on the bus with the players. You can see the players excited, the fans all get. It was like the Super Bowl, weren't it? Like the Super Bowl is. I mean, I don't watch the Super Bowl, but I do see clips of it, But it was like that when, everything was built around the FA Cup.
Well, it was the biggest day, wasn't it, in the football calendar?
Well, exactly. It was exactly. All players dreamt about winning the FA Cup, not with league titles.
But again, we didn't have live games televised like we do now. No. The kids today are so lucky. The only game really that was televised live was the FA Cup final, and it was all our dreams that we'd play football in the park or in the playground with a tennis ball and what have you, and you dream about becoming a professional football player and playing for your club at Wembley.
I don't think any cup will have that aura about it like the FA Cup. I mean, when you look at the Champions League, it's an exciting competition. It's your best teams. But that FA Cup reminds me of the Super Bowl. Even now with the Super Bowl, it has that build up like the FA Cup did. Because the Champions League, it doesn't have that same build up to it like the FA Cup did. You know what I mean?
I think the FA Cup is just so magic because of the smaller clubs.
It was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they've taken it off because football has changed. But I think that there's certain clubs that have proved that the magic is still left in the FA Cup. And it is always great to see that underdog progress. And it's always great to see a non-league underdog progress. I remember Leatherhead when they played Leicester City years ago.
Yes, I can remember that.
They played in a green kit, didn't they?
What was that? Yeah, what was that kid kept scoring goals?
I can't remember his name.
It's on tip of me tongue.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I see his bloody face now.
Yeah, I can see his face. Yeah.
That was a 2 or 3-legged game, weren't it?
Again, I can't remember if I'm honest, but I remember Dickie Guy making that save against Leeds United in a replay. And football, Hereford.
That was Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, yeah, when they were non-league, yeah. And of course, the famous one in 1972 was Ronnie Radford's goal that ultimately led to Newcastle being knocked out of the FA Cup as well. So it has had some iconic goals and memories.
Just one second. Tom, have a look at Leicester FA Cup. See where they scored the goal. It'll come up. Go on, sorry, Gabbie.
So it still has that romance. I mean, for us, they always show that goal.
They always show that goal, don't they? That Newcastle.
What a goal it was, though, wasn't it?
Well, when you look at the goal, look at the pitch.
Yeah, terrible.
How he's got the power to connect.
Yeah.
And hit that type of goal was incredible.
No, it was. I mean, as I say, on the podcast, I was talking to Pat about it, and it flew over his head, and he looked and he thought, that's got half a chance. Has Tom found the Leatherhead goal scorer yet?
He's looking.
Well, while Tom looks, I'll move on to my magic moments. What year was it, TC? It was about 74, wasn't it? Was it
75?
75 season was that, Leatherhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, my magic moments. I thought in midweek, last Tuesday and last Wednesday, there were two terrific games. Everton getting beat by Newcastle, and I thought St Maximum's performance was superb. He just
He's a good
looked
player, yeah.
unplayable, and on his day, he is. Is he consistent enough? I don't know, but it'd be a
Can I
name on
just
my
say?
team
Can I
sheet.
just say this
Yeah,
to you? Would it? I hear all these people about him, and I hear a fan on about a massive Newcastle fan on about him.
yeah,
I was in car, not over the Everton game, but I
yeah.
was driving home, he said the exact same. If this kid were consistent,
Mm,
I wish people. I want people to look at. You know, in Liverpool, the
yeah,
team's consistent. You know, in Manchester City,
yeah,
the team's
absolutely.
consistent.
Yeah.
So when you get a player like him
Mm,
at Newcastle,
yeah,
and he stands out, with absolutely at times unbelievable performances,
yeah, yeah.
right? If he was in a team that was winning, Newcastle was winning on a regular basis,
Mm,
everybody'd be saying what a world class player he is. Because when you watch him, some of his performances, world class performances, but
yeah,
the team is not a world class team. And
absolutely.
I don't, and I'm not sticking up for him. I don't buy into it.
Yeah,
You know, there's a lot of great players about what's not in great teams, but they are great players. Matt Letizia was a prime example.
yeah.
That was a different scenario because he didn't want to look Newcastle. But every time I see him play, he's either outstanding or he's
Mm.
played well.
And then he on the Sunday when Villa were playing him, he really had an off day. It looked as though he was carrying an injury. But again, I'm going to come back to that TC because on the Wednesday night I
And
went to Villa
can I
Park.
just say,
Yeah, of course.
this? When you play the Liverpools and when you play the Manchester Cities, these teams are at top of the league.
Yeah.
You know Newcastle.
Yeah.
What happens with that Maximus? Other managers will say, right, we'll mark him or make sure he don't get the ball.
Absolutely.
So he gets cut out.
Yeah.
That's what the fans don't realise. There's not that many great players in Newcastle team like there is in Manchester City's, Liverpool's, Chelsea's. So that's another thing what people don't realise, Gabbie, that type of thing. So yes, he may have had an injury. Yes, he may have had an off game, but there's reasons for these off games.
Yeah.
He's not playing, and I'm not sticking up for him one little bit. You can tell when somebody's playing bad.
Yeah.
But I analyse everything about that scenario at that club.
Yeah.
You know, and those opposition managers, and even your Liverpool's and you mentioned they will make sure that he does not get the ball as often as he could have, because he could be a danger to any team, whoever he plays against.
Oh, without a doubt, I think he's an absolutely great player. But on Wednesday night, I went to Villa Park with Tom, and I saw the performance. What a tremendous performance by Coutinho.
Well, there was a couple of things in that game, and I've left out because I know I spoke to you, and I know you mentioned, so I didn't want to spoil your magic moments. But go on.
His turn and an assist for Ramsey, I thought was absolutely. It was just delicious, wasn't it? But you could see, and that's the nice thing about when you're watching a player live.
I watched that other day.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times. In fact, I'm watching it again tonight. That.
Yeah. But he was on it all night. I mean, again, when you're watching on the TV, you don't get the same as when you're watching it live. And I was watching him from the Holt end there, and he was just electric. The fans were up for it. Every time he got the ball, there was
Atmosphere
a buzz about him. Oh, it was superb.
Buzzing.
I mean, again, the Leeds supporters played their part as well.
Yeah.
And I thought when Leeds equalised, their fans were superb. I mean, there was limbs everywhere. But it was just one of those games. And I said to the fella by me at half time, this could end up 5-4.
They're a good team to watch, Leeds.
Well, it was a nice open game. But then again,
I think Bielsa's got that charisma about him, like when Keegan was at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle were everybody else's second team, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think under Bielsa, I mean, Leeds have always had a bad name with with Don Revy, but a lot of players and a lot of ex-pros on TV always said they like to watch Leeds play football.
Oh, they're a joy to watch. But Villa are under Steven Gerrard as well, and I thought it was a really good game. But then Sunday, I was sat down looking forward to Newcastle versus Aston Villa. I thought the game was absolutely terrible. It was stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. The better players didn't get into the game. The midfield on both sides didn't give the top players the ball, and it just petered out into a bit of a stalemate, which it would have been a stalemate. Just won by a tremendous goal by Kieran Trippier. Although, to be fair, I mean, Aston Villa, building that wall was terrible.
I think it was I think
terrible wall.
If he's gonna stand anyway, he's got to stand.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was
a
bit
closer
wall.
Because he was in a bad position. But that's another thing. And again, I'm not sticking it for players. Sometimes a game becomes bad because it stops, start by.
Absolutely, yeah, it did.
And it may be a foul, it may be petty fouls, but they're not. Sometimes they're not serious fouls, and referees are just stopping the game. You know, and that causes a bad game sometimes.
Yeah, it did too. So I'd never seen a game stop and start so much, and neither team really got into it. It was just one of them games that it was like a dog with fleas. But awful. Billy Bowden's brace for Oxford. They got beat against Bolton Wanderers. But what
did you have to fetch
brace.
Them up? You have to fetch them up.
Who, Bolton Wanderers? Did they really?
Oxford. Again.
They won the week before and all.
That Oxford and Sunderland are the most luckiest team for me ever. Unbelievable.
I mean, Sunderland?
Incredible, that
What's
team.
Going on at the moment? Mind you, they've got a new manager now, so you never know. New manager bounce. Walsall, I backed Tranmere last week, and Walsall sacked the manager and then go and beat Tranmere. Football is just a bonkers game.
How many times has that happened, Matt?
It's just crazy,
isn't it? Manager gets a sack, and results unbelievable, Jeff, as Cabbie would say.
Absolutely, and I'd just like to also mention Stuart Armstrong's goal for Southampton against Coventry in the Cup as well. That was just brilliant, wasn't it?
They've had a decent. Listen, when we pick our magic moments, whatever it is, whether it's a piece of skill where somebody does it, as a damn turn or whatever, a Cruyff turn or whatever they are. There's that many instances in games now.
That's great, isn't it?
Choose who you pick. Somebody can look at it and think, well, that were better than that. But I get it because it's opinions, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
With having the cameras, we do see that many magic moments in any leagues.
Yeah,
in any leagues. Even that Conference League.
Oh, yeah.
There's some great goals scored by these teams.
There certainly is. We didn't see many magic moments last night. West Bromwich Albion versus Blackburn. I turned it off at half time. I couldn't watch anymore. It was painful.
This is what I did, and you can laugh as much as you want. I didn't know whether to come in the kitchen, sit and watch the washing machine spin round, or paint the door. And I went and painted inside the door. So that's what I did. I mean, I have a soft spot for West Brom.
Yeah, same.
I used to like playing there. Passionate fans, stadium like QPR on top of you, they could touch you on the pitch. Always had an attractive team. Always had some great players. You've what they call it, Peter Barnes, the black lad who went to
Cunningham. They had Regis, Derek Stavum, Tony Browne. Littered with great
John
players.
Astle, absolutely. And I watched them against Barnes, and I said after that game, I'm not watching them anymore. But, that game was as bad as what that Barnsley game was. Well, I left it. I went and did some painting. I thought, I can't watch that.
I turned it over and watched that drama on ITV. I quite like that, with Sheridan Smith in it. Sheridan Smith was far greater in her performance than any of them football players. Although Blackburn nearly scored, the lad in the first half, he had a shot. It was going right in the corner and hit one of the Baggies defenders and went out for a corner. And that was about the only thing worth watching in that
game. In the game, yeah.
But
I didn't see the second half, so I can't
I didn't. No, I can't. The first half was enough for me. It just really put me off football. But it looks as though there's some good games this week, so we'll be back onto it, and we'll be looking for some more magic moments. But Book Corner, in association with myfootballbooks.com, TC, some great books out, and none better than Paul the Beaver Trevelyan, as told by Neil Jeffries, a story of sock tags and self-belief. forward by Alan Sniffer Clark, and it's all about when Paul Trevelyan changed things at Leeds United. They were trying to get more fanciful, and he come up with the idea of the sock tags, and he come up with the
I
idea of
remember
the
them.
names on the backs of
Yeah.
tracks. So, kick about before the game, and the halfway line waving to the crowd and all that. And it
I think
started in March
that was
against Tottenham in the FA Cup,
that was
72.
another thing what wound people up about Leeds United, because I remember that as though it were yesterday.
Yeah.
Because it was funny to see players have a.
To listen to the rest of this podcast, please go to www.patreon.com/SRBmedia or just follow the links in the description. Thank you.